There is a saying among mountaineers: do not stare at the summit. That is how people get disheartened and give up. Instead, stare at your boots, focusing on one step and one more step. Whatever you try to hold on to, the nature of thing is that it's going to move away from you. And whatever you try to avoid and push away from you, it's just a question of time until it moves back. It explains why our complaints only magnetize the things we complain about, and what you pursue will elude you. And never tell anyone about your plans. A pendulum is the simplest system that shows balance plus motion. There is a natural resting position. The system wants to minimize energy. The more you push one way, the harder reality pushes back the other way. The system cannot go high on one side without going equally far on the other. A wave is what happens when you inject energy into a stable medium. When you complain, you're adding noise to the system. And noise spreads. When you chase something emotionally, you create feedback. Positive feedback loops amplify instability. Stable systems use negative feedback. Unstable systems use positive feedback. When we pursue, we are injecting force at the wrong point in the system. When you speak a plan, you fix it prematurely. Allow external noise. Collapse optional paths. You reduce degrees of freedom too early. More constraints mean less adaptability. It's not manifestation magic. It's premature optimization. When your allowed value range is wide, you are increasing variance. Because reality optimizes for balance, energy efficiency, feedback correction, not comfort, not ego, not control. Human suffering often comes from fighting these equations. Any system displaced from equilibrium will respond proportionally, symmetrically, and predictably, unless damped by awareness. Awareness is damping. Silence is damping. Naming collapses probability. Before a system is specified, it occupies a space of possible states. Naming fixes coordinates. Fixing coordinates removes degrees of freedom. Everything else is consequence. Degrees of freedom equal variables minus constraints. Naming is a constraint. Before naming a goal, identity, or outcome, your future is a probability distribution. It contains many viable paths. When you name something, you condition the probability space. That collapses the distribution from many futures to fewer allowed ones. In optimization theory, adding constraints before sufficient data reduces solution quality. Early naming locks assumptions that may be wrong. You are solving the wrong problem very efficiently. Right paths are no longer possible for you. Once named, systems become path dependent. Small early labels create large downstream effects. This is chaos theory. A name is a non-trivial initial condition. External models override internal models. Once spoken, your goal exists in others' predictions, their biases, their labels, even unconscious. Now you're optimizing against multiple models, not one. That increases noise. Measurement collapses the wave function. Measurement selects a basis, destroys other bases. You gain certainty and lose possibility. Naming freezes what is fundamentally dynamic. It turns being into objects. The limits of my language mean the limits of my world. Authenticity is internal coherence. Carelessness is external leakage. Naming works when information is sufficient. The system is stable and exploration phase is complete. Stay silent during exploration. Language inframes reality. Name during exploitation. Reality rewards systems that delay constraint until necessity forces it. Before naming, many doors open. After, some doors permanently close. If you understand it correctly, you become calm and unstoppable in action. The move is strong direction and weak attachment to form. You act on vectors, not destinations. Instead of I will become X by date Y, use I will train daily. Don't specify a point, specify a gradient. Name inputs, not results. That keeps the probability space open while energy flows. Because internal models need precision. External models introduce noise, so delay naming until feedback stabilizes, variance decreases, and patterns emerge. So explore silently and name only when leverage appears. Outcome naming fixes external state variables, collapsing the probability space of the world. Instead, model specification is crucial. Building a high-resolution internal model of the goal, then invert it onto yourself, asking what habits and qualities the person who has already attracted that goal would have. That's a conditional model, not a target. When you are in an uncertain, noisy environment, you need a clear internal map to help guide your actions. Our brains work like internal models of the world. They are essentially mental maps. They help us understand and predict the outcomes of our actions based on past experiences and information. Precision in these models means that the map has enough detail to make accurate predictions about what happens when we do something. The more precise and detailed the map, the more effectively we can act in the world. If your model isn't precise, external noise has a much bigger impact, and you might make decisions that don't align with your true direction. If you don't have a precise idea of the why behind a goal or action, you might waver when obstacles appear, while clear model gives confidence. What you pursue will elude you. Your goal is something you attract by the person you become. Pursuing is like being in a system with positive feedback. The system reinforces the deviation. Deviation feeds more deviation. No correction, only amplification. A system with negative feedback applies a force opposite the deviation. The system corrects itself. This is called asymptotic stability. Error correction. This is why thermostats work. Learning works. Convergence, calm progress, adaptability. These are negative feedback loops. Positive feedback causes closed-loop instability. Divergence, oscillation, burnout. The system overshoots, then crashes. Silence stabilizes trajectory. Naming the outcome too early is reducing the solution space to a point. Now aim for a region, a half space or a cone, non-zero measure, many valid trajectories, error tolerant. You are not chasing a location, you are aligning direction. Act on gradients, not destinations. You subtract error. You move downhill. A geodesic is the shortest path given a geometry. You align with the metric. Real life has many local minima, traps, dead ends. Silence keeps you in exploration mode, where geometry is still navigable. Curvature measures how space resists straight motion. High curvature, small deviations explode. Correction cost rises non-linearly. When you fight the environment, you increase effective curvature. Progress costs more energy. Masters choose low curvature paths. Symmetry equals many equivalent solutions. Symmetry breaking too early leads to defects. You don't reach success, you fall into it. Shape the field, not sprint toward the point. Constraint reduces dimension, which reduces resilience. The amateur aims at a dot. The professional aligns with the field. The master adjusts the geometry itself. Geometry cares about distance and direction. Topology cares about possibility and impossibility. Meaning, does a path even exist? A loop around a hole cannot be continuously shrunk to a point. Some constraints are not solvable by more effort, precision, or control. They require going around, changing spaces, lifting dimensions. In optimization, a local minimum can be escaped geometrically, but some traps are topological. The basin can be in a different homotopy class than the target. No smooth deformation connects them. You cannot try harder to escape a bad identity. Instead, change identity space. Stop naming, increase dimension. Feedback cannot override structure. Naming something is identifying points or performing quotient operation. This can create holes, collapse dimensions, introduce singularities. When you explore, you're sampling different homotopy classes of paths, and attractor has basin of attraction and topological pool. An internal model is a function your brain is running. If it is fuzzy, you cannot compute gradients. If the model is precise, error is meaningful, correlated with reality. When noise enters, people experience this as losing momentum. Second guessing. Naming can couple systems. They exchange energy, noise, or synchronize unintentionally. Internally, you need sharp gradients, clear variables, tight feedback. External models help when system is stable or leverage requires coordination. Learning equals updating beliefs as data arrives. Misspecified likelihoods cause slow learning, false confidence, oscillation. This is a Bayesian failure mode. Internal precision is building an internal likelihood model. Habits, competence, emotional regulation. If all the precision is applied to them, the external probability space stays wide. High precision on inputs, low attachment to outputs. Identify required traits, model inversion, and let reality sample freely. instead of focusing only on the end result without evolving into the person capable of creating or attracting that result. Fixed pathways are typically far less complex than reality itself. In internal models, sharp gradients are like having a very sensitive internal map of how your actions affect outcomes. A blurred gradient is when you don't know which action actually matters. Internal model needs to represent reality in terms of variables you can actually manipulate. When you replay a memory, the brain treats it as new evidence. Visualization with emotion breaks inherited models, expands perceived possibility space. Imagination isn't separated from perception cleanly. The difference between what you expect and what you actually perceive is called prediction error. These predictions are based on your prior beliefs about the world. The priors are weighted by how precise they are. High precision means you believe something very strongly, and errors in prediction are less tolerable. Low precision, small differences are more acceptable. When the precision of prior beliefs is lowered through meditation, prediction errors can more freely update beliefs. Meditation changes the manifold metric. How much does the current tangent direction fail to align with reality? Belief about any subject of reality is a scale. The scale is measured by intensity of true or false. Uncertainty and belief updating. Just like quantum particles, beliefs are probabilistic and subject to change. In short, a belief scale operates similarly to a quantum system, flexible, probabilistic, and in constant flux until you measure. Experience them enough to collapse them into specific states. Meditation helps reduce the precision of prior beliefs, allowing them to evolve and adapt in response to new experiences, just as quantum states adapt to new observations. Your beliefs are interwoven with others, and changing one belief can influence many aspects of your worldview. Practices like meditation help maintain coherence in your belief system, allowing for easier updates and transformations. What if, in reality, beliefs form a manifold, high-dimensional, curved, constrained, locally smooth, globally complex? Many axes, but they are overlapping, non-orthogonal, context-dependent. Belief space is a high-dimensional manifold. Beliefs are entangled, so axes are curved, shared, rotated relative to each other. Coordinates are non-orthogonal. Basis vectors can change from point to point. That's why changing one belief often shifts others unexpectedly. Manifold has a metric tensor, which defines distance, curvature, or cost of movement. We have beliefs about everything we have experienced. This forms a metric belief map. The metric tensor answers: how far apart are two internal states? How hard is it to move between them? Which directions are expensive or cheap? The metric tells you what change costs. Huge emotional reaction, that's a steep metric. After meditation, local coordinates become stable, smooth, predictable. Same action, similar felt outcome. Belief manifold is high-dimensional. But attention selects a low-dimensional submanifold. You don't visualize n dimensions directly. You experience them as a context-dependent slices. Each scale is a local coordinate projection, and projection is a function. Am I moving toward or away from danger or reward? That's a directional derivative. Fear creates infinite cost regions, forbidden zones, or global avoidance. Over time, meditation and work soften identity boundaries and collapse forbidden zones.